Hi guys, I'm back with another video. And in this video I'm going to be talking about self-harm. I'm going to be talking about the hows, the whys, the whats, everything you ever wanted to know. Because again, as I said before, I'm tired of stigmas, I'm tired of presumptions. I want people to feel comfortable, to be able to speak out and get the help that they deserve. So how people self-harm. So there's cutting, there's piercing the skin in any form, there's burning, there's solvent abuse, there's drug misuse. This can be prescribed or unprescribed, whatever. And there's I think it's important to realize that alcohol is a drug. Why? So personally for me, I've been very open on this channel and on my blog and everything. So by this time, everyone knows I went through that. I don't want to call it. I went through that period where I did self-harm, and even today, boy, I can feel tears in my eyes. Even these days, I even still get thoughts about it. Like when I'm going through something, I just feel, oh my gosh, like what do I do? And literally, it's the one thought that comes to my head. But reasons why I done it was a release for me. It it provided, like, I don't know, I couldn't talk. I felt like I couldn't talk to people, so it was like it was the one thing I could turn to that was always there, that was always 100%, that I knew I could rely on it, if that makes sense. Why else did I self-harm? Because it provided comfort, which sounds so weird. And this is why I say people can't fully empathize with something like self-harm unless they've been through it themselves. Because for me to inflict pain on myself, yet that pain that I inflicted somehow comforted me. Even today, I still can't process that properly. But in a weird way, I felt like it provided comfort for me. And it sounds bad, but sometimes I felt like I deserved the pain. So there were things I'd go through, or things that would happen, or things people would say, and I'd just be like, I deserve that. I deserve pain. So I would inflict pain on myself. Other reasons people self-harm are to distract themselves, numb emotions that they're facing, because sometimes it genuinely just gets so overwhelming. And as I said already, like, self-harm is one of those things that you're 100% sure is always going to be there, whereas confided in a person is like, I don't know if you're always going to be there for me, but I have a surety that I can always self-harm and feel some sort of release, even if that release is just temporary. So yeah, and it's important to also realize that not everyone that self-harms has a mental illness. Sometimes it's legit just a coping mechanism, like for external circumstances. So whether they're being bullied, or they face low self-esteem, or there's something going on at home, by them self-harming is just, again, a release, an outlet. And another thing to realize is not everyone that self-harms is suicidal. However, even though these people may not have a mental illness or may not be suicidal, it's still to be treated in the same manner as if they did, because self-harm is not something to be taken lightly. Like, you are literally, especially if you're, no, not even especially, like, you are literally damaging yourself. That person is literally harming themselves, and something has brought them to that point. And that something, the trigger, is what needs to be dealt with, because if you don't remove the trigger, then it's even harder to tell that person, oh, you need to stop cutting yourself. And I think, or not even just cutting yourself, see, because I cut myself, I think that's another thing. That's why I mentioned how people self-harm, because when people hear self-harm, even myself, I fall into the trap of thinking cut, because that's what I did. But I know that there's other ways in which people self-harm. So yeah. So when it comes to alternative coping mechanisms for self-harm, so there are things like writing or drawing out your emotions. Sometimes I would literally scribble on a piece of paper. You know, you scribble, or like, especially with aggression, and the paper literally starts to get holes in it. That is literally how angry and violent I would get. But instead of doing that to my skin, it would be on a paper. So it was safer. Or writing out your emotions, because when you're writing, I feel sometimes you can process, not even sometimes, for me personally, you can process literally what is going on in your mind, what's making you feel like this, when did it start, and it's easier to just to see it on the paper so you can begin to deal with it. Other things are ripping paper to take out that aggression, punching things that are soft like cushions to again just release those feelings. Calling or talking to somebody. If you feel comfortable, you can talk to that person about the thoughts that are going through your head. Like, oh, I feel like I want to do this, or I feel this way and it's making me want to do this. And if you don't feel comfortable, literally just talking to someone about any or any just literally anything. Like a joke that you heard, or just listening to them talk, because you just need that other person there. If there's something that you enjoy doing, listen to music, exercising, drawing, I don't know, then do it. Again, another distraction from your emotions, another way to even release those emotions. Go outdoors or somewhere public, because many people that self-harm, they do it covertly, so secretly they don't show people. It's not something that you do in open space in most circumstances or instances. So when you're outdoors and you're around public, I feel like because everyone else is there, you're less likely to do something to yourself. There are actually more alternative coping mechanisms, and I'll link those down below. So yeah, if you know someone that self-harms, or let's say someone came to you and said, okay, I'm feeling this way and I do this and I do that, I am asking you today, please, 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 please listen before you speak. Sometimes that's all people want you to do. They just want someone to listen to them, someone to just vent to, because it's not everything that you need to give a response. I remember one time I told this girl, yeah, I confided in her that that's what I was doing, and you know what she told me? Do you know what she told? She turned to me and she told me, "I'm actually disappointed in you," and I was like, "Hold up." That is one of the most unhelpful things you can say. I felt worse than I ever did before I even told her, because it's like I already felt disappointed in myself, because it's not something I want to do necessarily. It's just something that's there. I don't know how to see, this is what I'm saying. I don't even know how to process what I did, but it's just something that's there. So for you to come and tell me that you're disappointed in me, I was just like, wow. And I was just crying about it, and it ended up being a cycle. And what did I go back and do? I ended up going back to cut myself, and it was just like, oh my gosh, like wow. But so this is what I'm saying, that please be careful of what you say. Another thing, if you're religious, I'm tired. I will repeat this again and again till I get it into you people's brains. Do not come and tell them what they are doing is sinful. Do not come and tell them that they are possessed. There's not a time and a place for that. This person is genuinely struggling and you're coming to condemn. I'm so sorry, please. Get out. Just get out. Like, what? It just doesn't make sense to me. So yes, please be careful with what you say. If it is you that is self-harming, oh my gosh, first of all, I just want to say, listen, all is not lost. Like, there's still hope. There's still things to strive for. It just takes you being curious about what is at the other end of the tunnel. And I just want you to understand that I know it is hard to address situations, problems, thoughts, emotions that make you feel sick, like physically sick, as in your heart is aching. I get it. True, I've been there. I still am there at times. And it's just like, I just want to let you know, the most important thing you can do for yourself is to address those emotions. And if you can't do it by yourself, which many of us can't, please seek help. So I will be putting, again, helplines that you can call, people that you can refer yourself to, anything, because this path to healing starts with us. When we take accountability of whatever's going through our heads, then we can begin to grow. And it's hard, and I'm not gonna say you're gonna stop overnight, because I have relapsed many a time, but there is hope. There is actually hope, and I think that's one of the things that I continue to go off, hope. And I can actually feel tears in my eyes right now, I promise. But so I'm gonna end the video quickly because I'm not crying on camera. But please, 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 please click one of the links. If anything, talk to me, hit me up, social media, email, anything. If you have my number, anything, and I promise, like, we can get through this together. So yeah, thanks for watching my video. I hope you took something from it. If you want to hear my story of dealing with self-harm, I've written a blog post which you can also check out below. So yeah,